Hi, in last video we have seen the theory of the Django REST framework API, where we have seen what is exactly Django REST framework and what is the API. In this video, we are going to implement the API with the help of the function-based views. Okay, if you see here in last video, I have mentioned that there are different way of creating the APIs, like function-based views, class-based views, view sets, generic views, custom APIs. And these are the different way how we can create the API. So as I told you in this video, we are going to follow the function based views. But before going to implement the API with the help of the function based views, we have to understand what is this function based views and what are the features which is provided by the function based view. So based on that only you can decide whether you have to go with the function based views or other views like class based view, view set, generic view, custom view. It's depend as per your requirement. So you have to must clear like what functionality, which kind of views providing. So as I told you in this video, we are going to see the function based view. So what is the function based view? So basically a function based view in Django REST framework provide a more straightforward way to build the API by using the standard Django views. See, this function based view is nothing but the ordinary view only, which is we are using in the Django framework. Okay, don't be confused this function based view and the whatever function based view we have used in the Django project, it's a different. No, it is the same thing only. Okay, so instead of a class based view, we are using the function based view. Here are some key points about function based API views in Django REST framework. So the first point came in the mind when we have to use the like these function based views. So for a simple API, we can use the function based view. If you know it's a very straightforward requirement, then you can go with the function based views. When you don't need the complexity of the class based view, then also you can go with the function based views. And as I told you, straightforward requirement also you can go with the function based view. So overall, basically what I'm trying to say, when you have to implement the API in a straightforward way, or you can say you not require that much complexity, so you can simply go with the function based views. Okay, what are the limitation of this one? Less structure compared to the class based view. Basically what happened, we can write more complicated or more complex logic or a code in the class based views, which is where we cannot write in the function based view. So same thing here I have mentioned, less structure compared to the class based views, harder to scale for the complex application. If you have any application which is written in a very complicated logic, at that time you have to go with the class based view. But if you have a project which is written in a very straightforward way, you can go with the class function based view. Okay, and the reusability of the function based view is very less as compared to the class based views. Okay, because in the class we will get different type of functionality, like for example inheritance. So the function based view are ideal for a smaller simple API and provide the initial to entry point for the beginner learner. Okay, so these are the few parts you must know before going to learn the function based views API. So let's start. So I will start from the scratch. So simply do one thing. One second. Then let you navigate to the desktop. I want to create one empty folder over the desktop. You can create folder anywhere as per your requirement. So in my case, I'm going to create over the desktop. So because of that only, I'm navigating to the desktop. Now I'm inside the desktop. Here I want to create one empty folder. So the command to create the empty folder is mkdir. See one thing, you can simply go to the desktop and right click and create one new folder. Okay, not required. It is not mandatory you have to do like this only, no. But it is a cool way I'm doing. But even if you want, you can simply go to the desktop and right click and create one new folder. Okay. So mkdir is the command to create the folder. So here I need to give the folder name. For example, I'm giving drf, enter. Now let me go inside the drf. Now I'm inside the drf folder. Okay. So after that, I want to see in this particular video, we are going to see how we can implement the API with the help of the function based views. Okay. It means first I need the Python in my system. So it is already in my system, but you have to check in your system whether you have Python or not. But I'm sure if you're learning the Django REST framework, it means you have already Python in your system. But let's check what is the command to check the Python. So for that, Python hyphen version. So this is the command to check the Python version. If you are not getting any error, and it means you have a Python. Okay. Then next things, I want to create this thing like Django project. Okay. It means I need Django framework also. So what is the command to install the Django framework? It's a pip, 1 second, pip install Django. In my case, it's showing requirement already satisfied because I have already installed during my previous project, which is we have created Django help desk ticket system. Okay. If you don't have in your system this Django, then kindly install with the help of the command pip install Django. Okay. So the next things, we are going to learn the Django REST framework. It means we have to install the Django REST framework also. So what is the command to install the Django REST framework? Save pip install Django REST framework. See, it's showing requirement already satisfied because I have already installed it. Okay. If you don't have, then kindly install with the help of this command. It means before going to learn the Django REST framework APIs, it is highly mandatory. You know the Python, you know the Django framework. Then only you can learn the Django REST framework. Okay. And this is the things you have to install in your system before going to learn the Django REST framework. So the next things, I'm going to create the Django project. So what is the command to create the Django project? This is Python hyphen m Django Django, then project name. So for example, no, Python hyphen m Django start project. Then we have to specify the project name. So for example, in my case, I'm going to give the name API because we are going to learn the API. Enter. Okay, now we are inside our project. Next, we have to go inside the project. So what is the project name? API. Okay. After creating the project, we have to create the application. See, these things already we have learned during the Django framework. Okay. So I hope you remember these things. We are doing the same thing only. So the next things, we have to create the application. So what is the command to create the application? Python manage.py. Python manage.py start app. For example, I'm giving my app. Okay. So the next things, I have to run this project. But before going to run this project, okay, let it be run. Let's first run it. Okay. So what is the command to run the Python manage.py run server. run server. Let me open this URL. 1 second. If you are getting this page, it means you have successfully created the Django project. Okay. But we are learning Django REST framework. Okay. So what is the difference we have to do here? Come here, open the VS Code. So this is the project what we have created. Okay. It's showing here. Let me open it. Our project name is API and this is our application name. Okay. Then go to the settings.py file. First, what we have to do, as usual, if you remember, when we are creating any application, we have to register that application inside the installed app. Where is the installed app? 1 second. Here. Simply come here, then single quote, then register our application. So what is our application name? My app. Okay. Next things, we have to register the REST framework also. Okay. So REST underscore, REST underscore framework. Okay. Control S. So these things we have to do after creating the application. First, we have to register our application name. Second, we have to register the REST framework as it is. Okay. Control S. So up to this, we have done successfully. Okay. So the next thing, as usual, what we are doing in the Django framework, same thing we have to do here also. We have to create the model, we have to create the view, we have to create the URL. Along with that, we have to create the one serializer.py file also. Okay. If you have seen my last video, there I have already explained you what is the serializer exactly. Okay. So first of all, I'm going to create one models.py file. So where is my app? Come here inside the models.py file. I want to create the model. So what model basically I want? For example, I'm giving class name, and for example, I'm giving what we can say student data. Okay. Then as usual, we have to inherit model, and this one should be capital. Then come down. For example, I want name equals to models dot char field. Then here we need to define the max length. Max underscore length. For example, equals to 100. Then come down. Then simply copy this one. Then paste here. And for example, this one address. Okay. Then again come down. For example, I want state. Equals to, then again careful only I want. So basically I have created one model and the model name is the student data, and I have inherited this one from the model class, and I know you are aware of these things. Okay, this syntax. Then I have a 3 fields: name, address, and the state. ID I have not written yet, but the Django by default provide you. Okay, so not need to worry. So we have created one model. After creating the model, our next activity to register this model in the admins.py file. So where is the admins.py file? So this is the admins.py file. So come here. First of all, we have to import this one. So so you can see this admin.py file and model.py file both are in the same folder, which is my app. So it means current directory, from current directory, then models import, then we have to specify the model name. So come here, this is our model. Okay, come here, then paste here. Then here we have to create one admin class. So for example, I'm creating one class and the giving name is student admin. You can give any name, not mandatory like you have to give the same thing. No, you can give any name. Then here admin dot model admin. We have to inherit this class. Okay, then colon, then come down. Then here we have to display all the fields which is we want to display in the admin page. So for that we have a list underscore list underscore display equals to, then here we have to list down all the fields. So in my case I have a name, comma, address, comma, state. Okay, and this should be also in the single quote. And if you forgot, you can come here and you can see here. Okay, same thing you have to write there also. So these are the fields which is I want to display in the admin section. Okay, admin section. Okay, then come down. We have to do admin dot site dot register. Admin dot site dot register. Then here we have to specify the name of the model. So our model name is the student data. Simply copy this one, paste here, comma, our admin class name, paste here, and this should be outside the class. Control S. So this is the syntax to create the admin class and how you can register. So here you have to mention the name of the model. Okay, Control S. So we have created the model class. After that, we have registered that model in the admins.py file. Okay, these two things is done. If you come here in the browser and let me go to the, but the problem is that we don't have any admin user. So even we go to the admin page, we cannot log in. Okay, 1 second, let me check here, come here. What is showing? 1 second. Let me run that two magical command, which is I'm always repeating, python manage.py make migration. One second. We have did one spelling mistake. So come here in the VS Code, then go to the here SITE, Control S. Come here. Let me run that magical command. Here also we have did the spelling mistake. Simply copy this one. Come here. Let me remove this one from here. Enter. So one model is created. The next command is migrate. See, I'm repeating again. This make migration is used to generate the SQL query and migrate is used to execute that SQL query. Okay, then run server. So come here, what I'm trying to say here, let me refresh. See, we are in the admin page, but the problem is that we don't have any admin user to log in here. Okay, how we can create the admin user? I hope you already remember. If you are following my channel, so there I have already created one project, Django help desk ticket system. There in deep we have seen almost all the functionality of the Django framework. So let's create one, what we can say, one super user or admin user. So what is the command? Python manage.py. 1 second. Python manage.py create create super user. Then here we have to specify the name of the super user. So for example, I want admin only. You can give any name, not a problem. Then it's asking email address. It's optional. You can enter. Then passwords. For example, I want admin only. Then again, admin. It's showing like your password, like password validation and create user anyway. So I'm saying why it means yes. So our super user created. Let me run the server again. And if I'm going here, let me refresh first of all, then let me log in with the admin user. So admin, then password, admin. See, we are able to log in. And this is the model name, whatever we have created. Okay. See, S is by default added by the Django framework only. It's showing student data. But if you see here, we have given student data. Okay, so don't be confused how S is coming. So it is added by the Django only. So come here. So click here. Then add student data. See, name, address, states. For example, name I'm giving Durgesh Yadav. Address I'm giving, for example, Mumbai. And state Maharashtra. Save. Record added. Let me add one more. Okay. For this time, Shyam Yadav, address, let it be Mumbai only. Save. Let me add one more. See, here we have one more option. Like you can go for this one also. Save and another, save and continue editing. So as per the requirement, you can select it. Okay. So I have this three rows in my table. And the table is nothing but the model only. Okay. So here we are going to learn the API. So with the help of API only, we are going to perform the create. Create is nothing but the post operation. Then read is nothing but the get operation. Then update, then delete. This kind of activity we are going to do with the help of the APIs. Previously, what we are doing, these all things we are doing with the help of the Django only, and we are not using any external APIs or any external user. No, but this operations, which is get, post, update, get, post, put, patch, delete, this kind of activity we are going to perform with the help of the APIs. Okay, and I'm repeating again. Post is equals to the create, get is equals to the read, and update is equals to the put and patch, and delete as usual, delete only. If you see here, I have already explained in the theory only. See, remember I have already explained this CRUD operation is nothing but this operation only. Okay, so keep in mind this relationship. So basically this CRUD operation previously we are doing the manually, and we are writing the code for these things only, but now we are going to perform the same thing with the help of the APIs. Okay. So come here. Now we require the serializer. Why? Why we need the serializer? See, under the serializer, we have serialization one process, and the serialization is nothing but converting the data, Python native data into the JSON data, and then we have deserializer, which is used to convert the JSON data into the Python native data. Okay, what I'm trying to say, let me show you. See here only, I have written what is the serialization and what is the serializer. So if you are following my playlist, so you have already aware why we require the serialization and why we require the deserialization. Okay. So I'm not going to repeat this theory again. I hope you are following my playlist. And I will request you first complete, if you're going to learn the Django REST framework, so first see my first video, which is introduction of the Django REST framework. Then only you have to start the other videos. Okay, then come here. So we require the serializer.py file. So what you can do, come here, right click, then new file, then give name serializer.py. And one more thing, this serializer is almost same to the Django form, Django model form. Okay. So if you know how to create the Django model form, it means you can assume that you already know how to create the serializer. Okay. And I hope you know how to create the Django model form. Okay. So let's start. So this serializer.py file is nothing but going to be use this models.py model name. Okay, this model is going to be used this model. So what you can do, simply come here and copy this line, paste here. But right now this serializer.py file is the ordinary file. So we have to make it like an actual serializer file. So what we have to do, from REST framework, we have to import the serializers, this one. Okay, so you have to do like the same only. From REST underscore framework, import the serializers. Here I have given the name serializer and it will rename it. It is not a problem. You can give this whatever name you want, but it will correct it. Okay. So we have imported the serializer and we have imported the student data model compute. As I told you, if you know how to create the Django model form, so you can assume it, you know how to create the serializer. So the same thing, class, then you have to give the name. You can give any name. For example, I'm giving a student. So basically this serializer I'm going to use for the student model. So I'm giving student, then serializer. Simply copy this one, paste here. Okay. Remember, one second, let me show you. Simply copy this one. Serializers dot model serializer. See, I hope you remember the same way we are writing like a forms dot model form. Correct? Same thing here only. We have written enter. Then class meta, class, then meta, sorry, class meta. Then come here, models equals to, here we have to specify the model name. So this is our model, student data. Simply copy this one and paste here. And it is a coding standard. Always maintain the space after the these operators. Okay. Even if you are not going to maintain any space, not a problem. But if you remember, there is a one guideline, the Python enhancement proposal one guideline. Under that guideline, it's mentioned always maintain the space after the operators. Okay, control. And here it's the models, not models. Okay, control S. Then enter. Then fields equals to. So here we have to specify the which field you want. So for example, I want all. So hyphen all hyphen. Fine. If you want to include only few specific, then you can simply inside the square bracket you can give the name. Okay, but I want all, so because of that only I have written all. Control S. See, that much easy to create the serializer. I hope this syntax you have already familiar in the model form. Okay. Because of that only, in my theory video also, I have mentioned somewhere, DRF, Django REST framework serializers will work very similar to the Django forms and model form classes. And if you see here, this is very similar code what we have did during the model form. So keep in mind very clearly, if you know how to create the model form, it means you know how to create the serializer. That much easy is the API. Control S. Let me repeat once again. See, these models, we already know how to create the models. It means we have not did any new things here. Okay. This admin also we know how to register this admin. It means here also we have not did any new thing. In the settings.py also we know after creating the application we have to register that application. So this is also not a new thing. The only new things we have did this, we have added REST underscore framework, correct? And we have created the serializers.py file. So only these two things we have did new as compared to what we are doing generally in the Django project, correct? Control S. So next things we have to create the views. So where is the views.py file? Come here. Here we have to create the views. But what kind of views we have to create? Class based view, function based view, generic view, view API set, custom views, whatever. So as I told you in the beginning of this video, in this particular video, we are going to see how we can develop the API with the help of the function-based views. Okay, so let's start. But before going to start, we have to import few libraries. So let's start first that one, then we will create the views. So the first of all, in this view, I'm going to use this serializer. This is the serializer name. And I'm going to use the model. So first of all, let me import these two things from that dot. Why I'm using the dot? Dot representing the current directory. And what is the meaning of current directory? If you see in my app, we have a views.py file, we have a models.py file, we have serializer.py file. It means these all things present in the same directory. So with the help of we can access that things. Even if you are going to add, give the name, it is okay. Okay. So from the current directory, then models. What I want to import. What I want to import. So I want to import this model. Copy this one. Come here. Paste here. Sorry. Simply copy this one. Paste here and let me remove these things. Same. Copy this entire thing. Paste here. Then from this, now I want serializer. So come here, simply copy this one. Then come here, paste here, and it's present in. Simply copy these things, paste here. Let me correct the name. Okay, let me check name serializers. Okay, correct only. Control S. So I have imported my model and my serializer from the respective files. Okay, but let me tell you one thing. Here we are going to follow the function based views approach. Okay, so Django REST framework provide inbuilt support for that things. So what we have to do, we have to import that particular decorator and we have to place that particular decorator at the top of our function. Then only it will act as the uh, function based views APIs. Okay, so what is that particular what we can say particular decorator? So as I told you, it is provided by the Django REST framework. Django from Django REST framework dot decorators import API underscore view from REST framework dot decorators import API view. So this is the decorator. We have to simply place that decorator top of the our function. Okay, then it will act as the API. That's it. This entire thing provided by the Django REST framework only. See, that much easy. I hope this two line you already know. Okay, how what is exact meaning of this thing? The only things we have to import this one. Okay, then come here. There are a few more libraries we required. For example, response and status code also. And if you don't know what is the status code, so let me tell you. Uh, while API is going to perform any operation, so there is a one specific status code defined for that particular operation, like 200 status code. It means successful, or we can say okay, four, not found, or bad request kind of things. We have a different status code. So it is optional thing, but it is recommended to use that things. So for that also we have to import the status also. So let me copy same thing. Import status. Then I need one more library. Copy the same thing. Dot response. Import response. On second, this should be capital. Control S. Okay. Don't worry. You will get to know what exactly we are going to do with these libraries. Okay. Come here. Then as usual, as I told you, we have to use this API underscore view top of the any function, whatever we want to write here. So what is the syntax? We have to write the add the rate, then particular decorator name. Then here we have to specify the operation, what we are going to perform with this particular view. So first one, I am going to perform the get operation. So simply type get. Come down. Then as usual, whatever you have did during the learning of the Django framework, same thing you have to follow here. So for example, def is the keyword to create any function. So here I want to give the name, for example, get underscore API. Okay. Then come here, then as usual, default parameter request. Forget you are learning the REST framework. No, simply keep in mind you are doing the this thing only, Django framework only kind of things. Come here. Okay. So you have created one function, and function name is the get underscore API. It means this is the get API. See, these things you have to write as it is, and these things also. But here you can give any name, and here you have to give the request. Okay. So this is the variable, you can give anything here, but these things are the fixed things. Come here, then come down. Now what I want. So first of all, I want to fetch the data from the model. So for example, I'm giving my underscore data, one variable I'm taking, then models. So here we have to give the model name. What is our model name? For example, you forgot your model name. You can see here, student data is your model. Models dot object dot or. It means I want my all the data which is present in this particular model. And how many data, how many entries we have in this particular model? So if you come here, you can see 3. 1, 2, 3. Then come here. So the all things I have fetched from this model and I have stored in this particular variable. Okay. And I hope you found this one very similar what we are doing in the Django framework only. Then come down. Then take one variable. For example, I'm taking serializers only. Simply come here. Take one variable serializer equals to. Then here you have to specify your serializer name. So for this particular model, what is the serializer you are using? So for this student data model, I have created one serializer, student serializer. Then how you can say for this model, this is the serializer only? Because if you come here, We can see in models, I have written that model name. It means this particular serializer is linked with this particular model. It means if you come here, I have to use this one only. See, right now in this particular case, I have one model, one serializer only. But in future, we have more than one model, we have more than one serializer. At that time, you have to keep in mind how you can find the relation between this model and serializer. Okay. So whatever name you have given here, that model is related to this serializer. Come here. So simply copy this serializer. Okay. Then here you have to specify the this variable, my data variable, and basically this have all the data which is we have in this particular model. Okay, comma, we have more than one record. Okay, so for that we have to write many equals to true. Control S down, and this is the function, so we have to return something. So let me return equals response, this one. Simply copy this one, and what I want to return, so I want to return this serializer data. So simply come here, paste dot these things, copy this one, paste here, Control S. This is nothing but the get API. I'm repeating again. See, we are doing from the scratch, because of that only we have taken that much time. Okay, but keep in mind, developing the API is the various easiest thing. Okay, we know the Python, we know the Django framework. Python is the more complicated thing. Django is the very complicated things. And we have learning right now Django REST framework. So as compared to the Python and Django framework, Django REST framework is the most easiest things, because all the things already provided by the Django REST framework only. You have to simply write these things. Here you have written get, it become the get API. If you are going to write here post, it will become the post API. If you are going to write the put, it will become the put API. So right now we have created the get API. So don't worry, we will see remaining also. So first of all, let me save this one. Then let me create a URL. So where is the urls.py file? So come here, let me remove this unwanted thing. Control S, and I want to use application level URL. So let me create one file, urls.py. Okay, then simply come here, copy this entire things, paste here. Then here I want to create the URL. But before going to create URL here, we have to include these things, this URL here. Okay. So what is the syntax? Simply copy this one, paste here. Here you can give any pattern. For example, I'm giving API. Okay. Then here, let me remove these things. Dot, here we need to specify the model name, which is application name. So in my case, my application name is the my app. Okay, and this should be in the single quote. Oh, sorry. And here we need to write include. Include. And before going to use the include, we have to import the include. Control S. See, here you can give any pattern, but here you have to give the name of the application. So here you can see, in my case, it's a my app. Okay, dot URL. Control S. This one done. Then come here. Then here we have to create the pattern. Okay. So simply copy these things. Come here. Then here, for example, this is for the get. So I want to give get. Then here we have to give the name of the function. So what is the function name? So come here in the views, get API is the name of the function. So come here, paste here. Okay, Control S. See, you see what happened in the Django framework. We are writing the views dot then views name, but here we no need to write like a views dot views name. We can simply write. So that is a different here. Okay, Control S. From we are using this get API views name now, which is we have written here. It means we have to import this particular view. So come here from current directories, then views, import views name. Simply copy this one, paste here, Control S. From here, Control C, let me run. Let's see we are getting any error or not. Okay. In serializer.py line number 4, REST framework.serializer has no attributes model serializer. Here we have to do spelling mistakes in the serializer.py file. So come here, then go to the serializer.py file in line number 4. Here we have that mistake. Control S, then come here. Let me run again. Now what error we are getting? In urls.py file line number 8, we are getting error. One second, Control S. Let me refresh. Let me run again. Okay, now all the issues resolved. Okay, so let you copy this URL. Then come here, let me paste here. Okay, now we have to follow this pattern. So come here, slash. Okay, now I want to perform the get operation. So I need to follow this pattern. See, this is the way you have to go to the particular API. When serializer is passed a data keyword argument, then before, okay. One second. Come here in the views. Let me remove these things. Control S. Okay, then come here. Let me refresh. Here we are getting error. The class student serializer missing the meta attribute. Come here in the serializers.py file. Class meta. Sorry for that. We have did one mistake. Here should be capital M. I'm really sorry for that. So come here. Let me refresh. Finally, our get API is working. So the basically get API we have written for the get the data means read the data. So we have a 3 records, Durgesh, Shyam and Ram. And the same data I have already shown you in the Django admin page only. All. Let me copy this entire thing and let me open here. And not this one. For example, I want this admin. So come here, see, we have a 3 data. Let me delete one. Right. Okay, I'm sure. Now I have a 2 data only, Sham and Durgesh. Let me come here, let me refresh. See, I have 2 data only. See, don't think this this Python or this Django project we have in this system and we are hitting the URL in the this particular system only. Because of that only we are getting the data. No. Once we host our Django project over this server and it is live, so at that time when we are going to hit this URL with any system, at that time we will get the data. I'm repeating again, don't think we have created the Django project in this particular system only and we are hitting this particular URL here. So because of that only we are getting the data. No. If you are doing the same thing, then why we require that API, correct? So basically why API came in the picture, just assume you have created one Django project and it is up and running and you have deployed over the server. Okay, it's a live. Then the what at that time, if you are going to hit this particular URL from any other system, still you will get the data. That is the beauty of the API. Okay, keep in mind, I have repeated 2 times exactly what we are doing here. Okay, so if you are going to hit this URL from any system, you will get the particular data. But in my case, I have not deployed this Django project over the server, or it is not a live in position. Because of that only, when I'm going to hit the same URL from another system, I will not get this data. Okay, clear? Because my project is not deployed over the server. It is deployed on my local host. Because of that only, I have to hit the URL in my local system only. So this is how you can create the get API. Okay. So next we are going to see how we can write the post API. Basically this get API is used to get the data, but the post API is used to create the data. And here we have two different options. In JSON, in API. Right now it is showing in API format. If you want in the JSON, click here. See, this is shown on the JSON. So the next we are going to see the how we can create the post API. But before going to implement the post API, I want to show you exactly how much code we have written related to the API. In settings.py file, we have added this one line which is related to the API. In the models, we have not did anything which is related to the API. This is related to the Django framework only. Then serializers.py file. This is what we have did, which is related to the Django API. Okay, and this is almost similar to the Django model form. In the views, what we have did, we have written this one line. Remaining thing as usual. Here is nothing that much things. Okay, this is similar. What we have did, we have captured all the data and stored in the particular variable. Then we have map that data particulars with the particular serializer. That things only. Okay. And in the URL also, we have not did anything extra. Only the things we have removed the views, because if you remember, we are writing views dot then views name, but here we have directly written the views name. That things only. See, that much easy is the API development. Now you can say you know how to develop the get API. Next, we are going to see how we can develop the post API. Okay, so let's start.